Why are you crying?
They would laugh in front of me. During the take, they would start laughing together, high-fiving each other. Did you hear how funny she sounds? You know what I mean? They're like, no, you're a foreigner. You're not from here. Do you even understand what it means to be Indian? I'm telling the embassy, the consulate, don't send me back, please. Inshallah, don't send me back. That agency calls me, that Tipu guy calls me, he's like, I have something for you, come. I said, all right. I go and meet him. He's like, do you want to go to India? I said, yeah, I want to go to India. Let's do this. He's like, you want to think about it? I said, what's there to think about? India, Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. Period. He's like, yeah, okay, but just think about it. I was like, no. We grew up watching Hindi cinema. We grew up watching Bollywood films. I'm obsessed with this one film called Devdas. Okay, I watched it like 20 million times growing up. And why? Because it has dance, music, art. It was so like theatrical. It was so big. It was so dreamy. And that for me was so exciting. I said, Tipu, this is what I'm looking for, man. This is inspiring. I'm looking for somewhere where I can do all of it. I can act, dance, be emotional, be dramatic, look beautiful, everything. That's what Bollywood is. Like, I've been looking for it and you've just given me the answer. He's like, all right, when do you want to go? I'm like, now, let's do this now. And he's like, all right, after a week, I'm taking my flight to India. But I was so overexcited that I didn't think about what is required to go to India. Visa, the actual requirement, language, network, contacts, everything. I just went like a silly girl. And I'm telling my girls, the day I signed that contract, I called my girls. I'm like, girls, you guys have to come over. I have news for you. And all my friends, they're obsessed with Hindi cinema too, with Bollywood. Because, Somalian, Kenyan, we all watched, Bollywood films growing up. So they all came to my house and we're sitting. I'm like, guys, I'm going to Bollywood. And they're like, girl, you made it. We made it. This is it. We start from the bottom, now we're here. All of that was happening. And then the other one's like, tell Shah Rukh Khan I said hi. So it was like that hilarious. We were so excited and so naive. Yeah. So naive. Because when I reached India, it was nothing like that. I was thinking that I was going to get picked up by a limousine with like a butler. And they're going to take me to this suite and I was going to live a nice life in a hotel and I'm going to go to my auditions via the limousine. It's going to be nice. It's going to be like high level lifestyle because I'm going to Bollywood, It was nothing like that. I had the biggest shock of my life, the biggest slap in the face when I arrived and the struggle I went through, the bullying, the rejection, the traumatic experience I went through. If I knew that before going to India, if someone told me, this is all the things you're going to go through, you're going to meet evil people, they're going to steal your passports, you're going to get deported, you're going to go back to Canada, people are going to laugh at you and say, why did you go anyways? How do you leave a developed country to go to a developing country? Then you're going to go back to India and you're going to fight, you're going to learn the language, you're going to learn the language, you're going to learn the language. And you're going to meet people who are going to laugh at you on the way. Whenever you try to speak, they're going to laugh on your face. That happened to me all the time. You know how many times I would spend hours and weeks and months and years with my Hindi diction coach and Hindi teacher to learn the language. And he would uplift me and he'd be so positive and say, you are doing so good, Beta. You're speaking so well. I'm so proud of you. And he'd make me so confident. And I would go to a casting director or I'd go to an audition and they would know I'm not Indian. And they would call me specifically and say, the lines are in Hindi. Can you do it? I'd say, yeah, I'll try my best. And I would do them and they would laugh in front of me. During the take, they would start laughing together, high-fiving each other. Did you hear how funny she sounds? And my ego, I'd be like, how dare you? Wait till I leave, at least, you know what I mean? Like, why would you do it in front of my face? And that would take me back to when I was 11. I
was just gonna say.
Oh man. And I'd get so angry and I would have this dirty attitude and I'd be like, what's so funny? Nothing. No, what's so funny? Because like you were like hilariously laughing like hyena. What's so funny? No, it was cute. And I would leave. And that time I was traveling in a rickshaw. I didn't have a car. You know what rickshaws are, right?
Yeah.
And I'd stand in the middle of the road and it's always raining. SubhanAllah, it's always raining when happens. And it's raining and I'm like hailing the rickshaw, he's coming and I'm crying and I'm like, you know, that time I was living in an area called Vera Desai Road. So I'd be like, Maya, Vera Desai Road. And I'd be crying, be like, huh? I'd be like, Vera Desai Road, chalo. And he would take me and I would go and I'd howl and cry in the rickshaw. And the rickshaw driver is like traumatized. He's driving and he's like looking and he doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, crying. And I pick up the phone and I call my Hindi teacher. You said I was good. You said I was doing so good. And he'd be like, what happened? I'm like, they laughed at me. That's all I would say. They laughed at me. They laughed at me. And I would cry. And it happened so many times to me. It was so difficult because all you wanted to do was learn and be accepted. And you're learning and you're investing time and energy. And you want to be so positive and you're getting the complete opposite back. And it feels like the minute a door is opening, it's closing in your face. It's like they're opening it. They're like, hey, like it's open, come. And you're rushing towards it and they go right in your face. And that's what I went through for 5 years. Constantly. If it wasn't the language, it was the fact that I'm not Indian. And that would make me so angry because I'd be like, no, but listen, like, I'm North African, I'm Arab. Like, our cultures are very similar. And I'd want to make them understand that we are so similar. Like, don't focus on our differences, focus on our similarities. And nobody cared. You know what I mean? They're like, no, you're a foreigner, you're not from here. Do you even understand what it means to be Indian? Rightly so, I understand where they're coming from. This happens in every country, in any industry you go to. But I was so driven and so hungry that I just couldn't understand. It goes back to, again, when my mom, the divorce, everything, I was selfish. I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. And this is another scenario which is the same, where I didn't understand where they were coming from. Today, I understand where they're coming from because they want someone to earn it. You want to be here today, earn it. Learn our language. Learn what it is.
They need you to be relatable.
Be relatable. You are going to connect to billions of people. If you're not relatable, why are we going to invest our money on you? Who are you? Sah. It's true, but I couldn't fathom that. I didn't understand that because I believed in myself. Just give me a chance. Just see my audition. No, we don't want to audition you. I would stand in lineups for hours. I'm auditioning with 300, 400, 500 people who want the same thing. And imagine, I was auditioning with girls who are from Brazil, who also wanted to be Bollywood actresses, didn't know the language, didn't care for the language, but they said, whatever, let's try our luck. I was auditioning with Indian girls. I would audition with other South Asian girls. I was auditioning with the world because suddenly Bollywood became a vocal point of where actors wanted to come. Something had happened in Bollywood where people globally were coming, trying their luck. I didn't think that. I thought I was only going to compete with Indian girls. You know, I thought maybe not a lot of Indian girls wanted to do it. Maybe I might compete with like 10, 15. Hundreds. I got put in a house when I landed in India.
You lived with 8 people, right?
Can you imagine? 8, 9 girls.
Yeah, I read.
Can you imagine?
No, I don't want to imagine.
Yani, this is the biggest shock of my life.